Hi, namaste, and good evening, students. We have already been in a classroom, where it was a video call where we have been talking about how, we design a product in the headquarter and how it finally reaches in the hands of the customers. And you have already been briefed about it. But I assume that, post that, the Zoom class that we had, we thought of describing more into it. So, if I talk about any product, first of all, we have to understand all the categories of the product that we see in the market. So, anything that you see around, which is a part of your lifestyle, I'm talking about all those products, be it what you wear, what you use at your home, the chair on which you sit, the table that you use, the cell phone that you use, or maybe it's any single thing that probably you use in your daily lifestyle. So for today, let's suppose if I'm talking about apparel, so how do we design a garment? How do we make an apparel in the headquarter and how it finally reaches to the customers? So first thing is, since we all know that apparel segment is a part of fashion, it comes under the fashion wear. So you have to understand from where does this fashion comes into the apparel segment. First thing is trend analysis. So what we do is we try and study the trends. Trends as in whenever you go to shop something in the market, what is the first thing that you see or what is the first thing that comes into your mind? That this design is something which you have already seen like since ages. So you have an idea that this design has been there and it's not in trend anymore. It's already outdated. But when you see something totally new, you always have that fascination to buy that product. Or maybe you all are millennials and you always browse a lot of things on Instagram, Facebook, or a lot of social medias that you have. And when you see something there, when you find a celebrity wear something, or when you see an influencer wearing something, there it sticks to your mind that whenever you see that next in the market, you would love to buy. That's something even we do. What we do in trend analysis is that in general, normally what we have is that we browse across the globe. What all trends do we have? We go abroad, we look into all the countries, we look at the versatile demography of all the countries and what they're wearing. Post that, at the same time, we also have lot of forecasting agencies that throw their forecast every season that okay, this has been the trend since last 2 or 3 seasons and this is the trend that is going to come maybe after the coming year and so forth. And using that forecast plus our understanding of what we go and see abroad, together we combine and we decide that this is something that is going to create a trend in our country and in our market. Once we understand this trend, once we understand our market at the same time, and we also know that the brand that I'm selling for, it also has a set of customers that fall under one age group, one income group, one demography, and they have a set of choice. What we do is we try and incorporate that trend into that set of choice of the customers. That's the first stage of how we think of designing an apparel or an accessories or any fashion merchandise that I'm talking about. Next is, once the moment we have the trends in our hand, once we are sure that this is something that fits under my customer call with catering to that price point to which the customer would love to buy, we with the help of the design team and the buying team together create that design. Now you very well understand what a design team does. Of course, it understands the trends, they create the mood boards, they design the entire merchandise. But at the same time, there is a call of a buyer. Buyer has more of a customer centric call. When they look at the product, they are the critics who actually tell the designer whether this product is going to sell in the market or not, whether their customer would buy this product in the market or not, because even they come from a similar mentality of understanding the trends, but at the same time they also have the understanding of the price points that their customers might ready to take or buy from the market. Once these buyers and designers together, they come under one common line, when they are on the same page of understanding of designing a product or designing a merchandise, then it goes to the next step of sampling. For the sampling, first thing is understanding the technicalities of that merchandise. So what in our language we say is tech pack. Basically, whatever the detailings that you see in any merchandise, in any product, that's something called as the tech pack in terms of the line drawing. Post that line drawing part, it goes to a sourcing team. These guys, sourcing team is responsible for getting it manufactured, getting the samples done. Through whom? They get it done through the vendors. So there are a lot of there are a lot of manufacturing units who actually support this industry from the other side, where they help us manufacture our products. So those are the people who are vendors, and they create our samples. Once the sample is ready, it comes to the headquarters. It has been studied, quality checks done by all the departments together, and it goes for the approval. Once the approval is done, ensuring that it is fitting under the price that we are looking for, even at a bulk level, then we probably decide that fine, this product is ready to go to the stores. And this entire set of process is followed for every single merchandise that we have every season. So let's suppose in general, any good brand would have at least nothing less than 900 to 1000 styles or SKUs, stock keeping units, in each brand as a whole, or maybe catering to multiple categories. Once this is done, next role is how you send it to the store. Of course, the merchandise directly from the manufacturer end or from the vendors end, it comes to the warehouse. But before it goes to the store, there is another department which ensures that when it reaches the store, it has to be placed perfectly in the store so that it hits the eye of the customer. It gets the perfect traffic flow on the floor, and that's visual merchandising team that they do. Just to give you a brief of visual merchandising team, so the moment you go to any shopping complex, the moment you go to any mall or any shop or any brand layout, you would see in front of the store there is a huge signage, there is a window where a lot of mannequins are kept, people wearing those garments, the mannequins wearing those garments, and next to that are a lot of props. So the moment you look at that, you catch an eye of that thing. That is a brief that we have always shared about visual merchandising. But this is not what just visual merchandising is. You have to understand that visual merchandising plays a critical role in ensuring, in boosting the sales of the merchandise. So let's suppose if I'm defining visual merchandising as a team, and what their roles and responsibility is in ensuring that the product is sold to the end customer with excellence. First thing is, they ensure that the customer gets an eye of it. The moment you enter into the store, what you get to see is, you get to see a well organized window display. So there is something where it talks about a lot of visuals, communications, where it talks about the price points, plus something which is in trend that has been highlighted. Next, once you enter into the store, what is the next thing that catches your eye? There are a lot of focal points. So those focal points, if I talk about, again, is the same thing but a smaller version of a window which is kept on an open space on the floor. They also have the same purpose. They talk about the highlights, they talk about the trends, they have price communications. Like for example, you must be whenever you get into a store, you must have noticed that there are a lot of price points like buy 3 at 999, or buy 2 get 1 free. So these are the price point communications which actually also attracts the customer, not just the look or the feel. Once you cross that part, being attracted by the price points or the trends that you see hanging in, you go closer towards a brand, you go closer towards the wall, and once you reach the wall, again you get to see the merchandise hanging or kept stacked on the wall. In front of the wall there might be a lot of tables, or there will be some floor gondolas. So wall you understand, of course, the table you understand, and floor gondolas are nothing but those rails or the fixtures on the floor on which you have the hangings, and you can easily browse those hangings. There is again a critical role of the visual merchandiser here. What has to be hung on the wall, what has to be stacked on the wall, what has to be kept on the table, and what has to be hung on the rail on the floor is something which again visual merchandiser decides. Normally the maximum sales is something which comes from the wall. That's in general almost all the brands have faced till date, because whatever that you see on the wall is something which is visible from further off. So the moment you catch an eye something on the wall, you have a tendency to buy that. So we always keep higher price point merchandise on the wall so that we always generate higher revenues from the wall. The lesser price point merchandise are normally hung on the rail or it's kept on the table. So once you reach near the wall, after browsing the wall, if you really like to buy something else also, you would probably love to buy it from the table, because those are normally the bulk products, or the core products that we say that comes under a bulk price. Like for example, if you buy 3 products only at 599. So these are some of the price points that you normally see on the tables or on the rail, or mostly when you have a lot of sales going on in the market, like we call it end of season sale in the industry. So when that's happening, we'll find most of those merchandise kept on the rails and the tables. Most of the graphic t-shirts, as in I'm talking about the chest print t-shirts, those are normally kept on the table because you can actually visualize there, you actually get to see what the graphic is on the table. So that's how a VM role comes also into boosting up the sales on firstly catching the eye of the customer through the window displays, through the focal points, maintaining the hygiene in the store, having a great signage, a great facade. Then once you enter into the store, what you get to see is the wall. Now on the wall, what merchandise has to be placed and at what place is something that we also call as planogramming, which that day probably you guys were asking in the classroom. So yeah, that's planogramming that again the visual merchandiser has to do. And that planogramming is done on the basis of categories, on the categories as in shirts, t-shirts, pants, trousers, joggers, shorts, blah blah blah, and so on. And along within the categories there is something called as color blocking, and that's also again arranged on the basis of the price point. So higher the price, kept on more of the in the sight of the customer in the visible area. Lower the price, we try and accommodate that in the places where probably after the wall we can cater to. So that's how again VM plays a role. Next is, once this is done, who are the floor guys who actually ensures that this, whatever the plan that has been created by a visual merchandiser, needs to be executed. So those are the fashion consultants, the staff that you see on the floor, who are always ready to help you on the floor, who always comes and asks you that, sir, may I help you? Those are the fashion consultants who have a decent understanding about the trend again, who also have a decent understanding about your profile, and they suggest you on what to buy and what not to buy basis what we guide them from the headquarters. They will pick the merchandise for you, they suggest you, you have the right eye for that product, you are convinced, and you finally buy the product as a customer. And this whole process that I have spoken about in last 15 minutes is actually a process of 1 to 1.5 years, because whenever you work for a product that is there in the store today, in the store, in the market, actually was designed maybe 1 year, 1.5 years back. And that's how retail industry works across all the categories or the products or the merchandise that I'm talking about. Again, repeating, be it fashion or be it any lifestyle product. That's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Prashant here, and I am your mentor. You can ask as many questions as you can with respect to this retail industry or how a retail industry works. Thank you so much.